left shift operator. For example, this is a is equal to 5. For example, a is equal to 5. What is the output here? It is a left shift operator. For example, 101 is the binary value for 5. 101. Now left shift of 2 bits means it is going to be adding 2 bits here. For example, this is 2 power 0, this is 2 power 1, 2 power 2, 2 power 3, like this. Now I am going to add 2 bits here. That means this is 2 power 0, this is 2 power 1, this is 2 power 2. 2 power 2 means 4, 2 power 2, 2 power 3, 2 power 4. 2 power 4 means 16. 4 plus 16 is equal to 20 is the answer here. Is the answer here. In this way it is going to be executed like this. For example, the same thing, for example, it is going to be 20. I am going to write here right shift of 2, 20, this is the 20. Right shift of 2 means the last 2 bits are going to be erased. Now it is going to be converted as 5 here. I am going to execute it. 20 becomes 5 here. 5 becomes 20. 20 becomes 5. Okay. You have to practice it. Then only you will get how I am going to execute it. Bitwise and AB. Bitwise AB. Bitwise and, that is bitwise and. What is the 2020 binary value? 20 binary value is 20 binary value. 20 binary value is this one, and 10 binary value is 1010. This is 20 binary value and this is the 10 binary value. Now we are going to apply AND operation on all these things. 1 0 AND means 1 0 0 0 1 0 1 0 0 0 1 0 0. That means what is the binary value for all zeros? That is going to be 0 here. For example, if I execute it, the output is 0 here. If both are 1, then only it will be true. That is called a logical AND operation. That's why there is no operations here. For example, I am going to change this is as 1. For example, what is the value of 1110? 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2, 2 power 3. 2 power 3, 8. 8 plus 4, 12 and 13. This is 13 value. What is the output of this one? This is 1 0 0 0 1 0 1 1 1 0 0 again. What is the output value? That is 4 here. The binary value is 4 here. I am going to execute it. The output is 4 here. Just do it manually, then you will get the answer. For example, I am going to change it as a logical OR operation. Logical OR operation. Logical OR operation means if any value is 1, the value is 1. 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, also 1, 0, 1, also 1, 0, 0 is 0. Now the output is 2 power 0, 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16. It is 20, 20 and 10, that is going to be 30. 29. Wait. Over 0. 13 value, I think this one. 2 power 0 to what is the binary value for 13? Well, 8 plus 4 plus 0 plus 1. 0 like this. 1 0 is 0, 0 1 is 0, 1 1 is 1, 0 and 1. Now the output is no, this is logical OR operation, right? OR operation, sorry. 1 0 1, 0 1 1, 1 1 1, 0 and 1. Now the output is 29. Now the output is 29. Okay, this is the logical OR operation. How logical OR operation works? If any value is 1, it is going to be 1. That's why this is called a logical OR operation. Okay. Then XOR, logic bitwise XOR, sorry, bitwise XOR. Bitwise XOR means if both are ones, if both values are either 0 or 1, it is going to be 0. For example, 1 0 is going to be 1, 0 1 is also 1, 1 1 0, 0 0 0 and again 1. Now the output is 1 plus 2 power 1, 2 power 2, 2 power 3 and 2 power 4. 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 9, that is 25. That is going to be 25 is the answer. This is the logical bitwise XOR operation. Bitwise XOR operation this is. Okay. And the last one is bitwise NOT operation. Bitwise NOT operation is very simple. The output is, for example, if it is 20, the output is minus 20. The output is minus 20 every time. The output is minus 20, it is minus 21. Minus 21. For example, the input is 1000, the input is 1000, the output is minus 1001. Minus 1001. If it is signed, if it is unsigned integer, if it is a signed integer, then only the output is like this. For example, if it is an unsigned integer, that means the percentage u it is. What is the output here? It will be somewhat typical answer. If I execute this one, this is going to be like this. What will happen here? I will explain. What is the maximum value I am going to print here? Printf percentage u, give some slash n, comma, max plus min. Example, it is going to be some 10, it will be showing perfectly. Let's look at here. This is the maximum value and this is the bitwise NOT operation value. If I am doing with 10, it is going to be working as what is the maximum value minus the 10. 95 minus 10. 95 minus 10, that is 85. For example, if it is 1000, look at here. If it is 7295 and here 6295. like this. These two, if it is a signed integer, it is going to be working from the maximum value minus 10, something else like that. If it is an unsigned integer, it is going to be like this. If it is 1000 minus 1001, like this. Output is very simple. Okay. Okay. I think it is cool. Just practice, everyone. Just practice. Just take different inputs and work out all the things. Then it will be clear for you. We are already doing some operators here. Look at here, for example, the addition operation or subtraction operation or bitwise AND operation, some logical AND operation or bitwise AND operation. Do you observe? We want two operands here, two operands every time. For example, I want to add two numbers, a plus b. We have to put in the middle. These are the binary operators. These are the binary operators. Okay, but increment operator and decrement operator and logical NOT operator and bitwise NOT operator. If you observe all these things, if you observe these inputs, these operators are working on only single value. All these are working. Okay, these operators are called unary operators. Okay, for example, addition, subtraction, any other than these four, remaining all are called binary operators. That means we want two operands, a plus b or a star b, like this. A logical and b, a bitwise or and b. These are all called binary operators. And these note down these operators, increment, decrement and logical NOT and bitwise NOT are the unary operators. Unary operators means they are working on only single value. For example, a plus plus. There is no other operator is there. There is no other operand is there. Only single operand. They are working on single operand. Yes, all these four are working on only single operand. That is called unary operators. Note it down, everyone. Increment, decrement, bitwise NOT and logical NOT. All these are called unary operators. Okay. And the next concept is conditional statements. I think I already discussed not. I think I already discussed about conditional operators, right? Is it finished? Conditional conditional statements. Is it finished?
No, sir.
If and else.
Yes, sir. Complete.
Yes, completed. Okay, next one is control statements. Control statements. Control statements. Control statements. A simple question. Control statements means, what is the control statements? These are called loops. Yes, control statement means loops. Do you know how many types of loops is there? How many types of loops?
3 types.
Types.
3 types.
I am not asking here what are the loops in C programming. I am asking what are the different types of loops. The question is somewhat different. There are in every programming language there are 2 types of loops. There are 2 types of loops. 2 types. Just mute your. Okay, there are 2 types of loops in every programming language. In every programming language there are 2 types of loops. First one is definite looping. First one is definite looping and second one is indefinite looping. First one is definite looping and the second one is indefinite looping. Note it down. Definite looping and indefinite looping. Okay. Everyone knows that. What is the difference between while loop and do while loop? Anyone?
In while loop, condition is first tested. In do while loop, condition is tested after the execution.
That's it. Okay. The same question I am asking again. What is the difference between for loop and while loop? Anyone?
In for loop, within the condition and initialization, all the
You are telling that the syntactical difference.
yes, sir, syntax is different.
This is the usage difference. I want usage difference. Yes. Definite looping is the example. For loop is the example for definite looping. Note it down. And in indefinite looping, while and do while, while and do while, while and do while are the examples for indefinite looping. Okay, definite looping is for and indefinite looping is while and do while. That's why there are 2 types of loops. That is definite looping and second one is indefinite looping. What is definite and indefinite looping? What is means? For example, I have a robot. For example, I have a robot. I'm going to give some instruction to that robot. What is that? Make some 10 steps. Forward to some 10 steps. Know exactly how many steps it is going to be forward. 10 steps. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 10 steps. It is going to be stop there only. That means it knows the destination exactly and it is going to be do only 10 steps. That is called definite looping. Know how many steps you have to do. 4 steps. Then it is 4. After 4 steps it is going to be stop. This is also called looping, right? It is doing the same process up to 10. The next one, that is indefinite looping. This is also called a loop. The instruction is somewhat different. What is that? 2 steps.
Sir,
Until yes.
sir, repeat that definite looping, please.
Definite looping means just for example, our class is there. Exactly after 1.5 hours it will be going to stop. Yes.
Yes,
It is
sir.
going to be stop at, for example, 45 days duration. After 45 days, I am going to stop the class. So is it finished or not? I don't know. At 45 days, that means I have a boundary here. I have to stop at that particular position. That is called a definite.
Okay.
But another scenario is there in the same class. If you learn perfectly up to, for example, if you know exactly what is the C programming, up to that I am going to teach you. But sometimes it is going to be in 30 days. For example, if it is going to be 1 year, like that. We don't know when it is going to be satisfied that condition. If the condition is satisfied, we are going to come out of that loop. The same thing in indefinite loop. For example, the robot is there. I am going to give some instruction for that robot. Make some steps until some obstacle is going to be reached you. That means the obstacle is going to be reached in 2 steps or 10 steps or 100 steps until it is going to be walking like that. Both are loops, but in definite looping it knows exactly. In indefinite looping, when it will be happen at that time we have to stop it. That is the difference between for loop and while loop. Okay, just mute your call. I will show you. But you are writing in like that in your when you are writing in C programs, you are writing for loop for definite looping and while loop for indefinite looping. You also write. For example, I am asking one question: to read array of elements, which loop you are using?
For loop.
For loop.
I think some of you students know that reverse of a number, which loop you are using? In our notebook, just check it out. Reverse of a number. For example, just look at our book. Or C notes, anything else. Reverse of a number. I think it is going to be a while loop. No doubt about that. It is going to be a while loop. Okay. You don't know what is that definite loop and indefinite loop, but you are using like that. Okay. Why you are using for array reading for loop? Why? Because you know exactly what is the range. You are giving some range n. Up to n values you are reading array elements. That's why we are using for loop here. Okay. Don't bother about all these things. I will practice here the questions, number of questions here. Then you will get a clear idea about when you go for loop and when you go for while loop. Okay. And for example, your BTech degree is there. For example, you are coming to college. I am also coming to college, right? Every day we both are coming to college. We are going to college, right? For example, if you are a BTech student, how many years you are going to college? Exactly how many years you are going to college?
4.
4 years. 4 years. After 4 years, you are outside student, right? If you are fail or pass, you are going out of the college after 4 years. It is definite looping. You are in definite looping. For example, take the scenario of the faculty. Take the scenario of the faculty. For example, he is also going to college like you. But only 4 years, only 2 years. No. He is going to be college at least 1 year, for example, or 10 years. We don't know exactly, right? We don't know exactly. That is called while loop. We are doing the same thing. We are going to college, coming to home. Going to college, coming to home. We are in the same loop. But student life is example, right? Write the example of definite looping. Student life is the example for the definite looping. And for example, faculty life is the example for indefinite looping. Just relate with real items every time. Okay, when I am discussing about programming, I am giving any example, just relate to the general things. Totally there are 3 loops: for loop, while loop and do while loop. And first of all, I am going to discuss about the syntax and how for loop is going to be executed and how it is going to be working. I will explain here. For example, some n is equal to 10. Write down the syntax of for loop. Syntax of for loop. Syntax of for loop. for loop has 3 blocks every time. 3 blocks. For loop has 3 blocks in the syntax. First one is initialization block. The second one is condition block. And the third one is increment or decrement block. What is this? Initialization block, condition block, increment and decrement block. Note down the syntax here. Statements. The statements. For loop has 3 blocks. First one is initialization block, the second one is condition block, and the next one is increment or decrement block. Each block is going to be separated with a semicolon. Write down on the notebook. Each block is there are 3 blocks: initialization, conditional, and the next one is increment and decrement block. Each block is separated with a semicolon. That is the syntax. Each block is separated with the semicolon. Each block is separated with the semicolon. Let's look at here, 2 semicolons for 3 block separation. And write one more point here. All the 3 blocks are optional. All the 3 blocks are optional. All the 3 blocks are optional, and the syntax is, for example, I'm not writing anything else. If I'm not writing anything else, for example, if I'm going to compile it, there is no errors and no warnings. Just look at here. That means all the blocks are optional here. The semicolons are the blocking. The semicolons are mandatory. That's it. The syntax is this one. The syntax of the for loop is this one. For 2 semicolons. 2 semicolons means 3 blocks. 3 blocks are optional. If you write or don't write, it is not mandatory here. Okay? And I want to show you an image. Is it deleted or not? Just look at. Okay, I'm going to explain it again. Initialization block. This is initialization block, and this is the condition block, and this is increment or decrement block. Okay, how it is going to be working now? Initialization block. This initialization block is going to be executed for only one time. Note it down. This initialization block has to be executed only one time. It is going to be executed only for one time. For example, I am going to take it as I is equal to 1. Okay. This initialization block is going to be executed for only one time. Only one time. Okay. Then the next condition block. Condition is, for example, I am writing like this: less than equal to n. I am writing here the condition. Condition means it is very similar to the if condition. For example, if you are writing if some condition is there, the same property is also here. What is the condition here? I less than equal to n. What is I value? I value is 1. Why? Because here I am initializing 1. 1 is less than equal to what is n value? That is the 10. What is the output of this one? What is the output? 1 is less than equal to 10. What is the output?
True, sir. 1.
True. That means it is always written true or false. The condition is always written true or false, nothing else. Okay? If it is true, if this condition is true, then it is going into inside the for loop. If the condition is true, it is going inside the for loop. That means the control is going to be like this. For example, if it is false, it is going at this position, end of for loop. If the condition is false, it is going out of the loop. If the condition is true, it is going inside the loop. Okay. It is coming inside this inside this statements, and I am going to write, for example, printf hi like this. Okay. For example, one more statement is also there. For example, I am going to write here printf some hello hello. Number of statements, not only single statement. Okay, that is my intention. There is not only one statement is there. There are n number of statements we can write based on the program. Okay, here it is going to be print hi, and coming to this statement it is going to be print hello and some slash n new line. After all the statements, if all the statements are executed line by line, it is going to be executed line by line, and then after the last statement, the control is moved to the increment and decrement block. After all the statements execution of the for loop, the control is automatically going into that increment and decrement block. What I have to write? Increment and decrement. For example, how to write increment and decrement? For example, I am at floor 0. I am going to the 5th floor on the lift. I am going to the 5th floor on the lift. For example, I am at the ground floor. If the lift is going down, for example, can I reach to the 5th floor? No, not at all, right? We have to think like that. Here I am at 1. I am moving forward to 10. That means I have to write here the forward loop. The forward loop. This is called forward looping, and some other is there backward looping. There are two different types of loops we can write every time. Forward looping and backward looping. For example, what is the use of backward looping? For example, if you go for 5th floor, then you come back to the ground floor, then how we are coming back? We are coming back using backward loop, right? If there is no backward loop, you have to stay at 5th floor only every time. Or we can jump. That is also backward loop. Okay? We have to write that type of programs also. When we reach that position, we have to automatically jump into the 0th position again. There is no decrement one by one. We have to jump to 0 again. Okay, that's why I'm writing here I++. For example, if I++ is going to be executed, now what is I value? I value becomes 2 here. Okay, I value becomes 2, and again after this increment and decrement block, it is again going to this condition statement. This condition block, again it is going to be checking that is it true or not. Is it true? 2 is less than 10. Again it is true. Yes. And again it is going inside the for loop, and it is going to be executed hi and hello, and it is again coming to this increment and decrement block. And here I++ is there. Then it is 3. For 3 also it is printing, for 4, for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. For example, 10 is less than equal to 10. Is it true or not? Students, is it true or not?
True.
True.
Again it is true. Then it is going inside the loop, and it is going to be print hi and hello, and again coming back to this increment and decrement block. Now I becomes 11 here, and 11 is less than equal to 10.
False.
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 Then it is going out of the loop. Then it is going out of the loop. How many times hi and hello is going to be printed? Hi and hello is going to be printed for
10 times.
10 times. I am going to execute it. Just you observe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes.
Sir, if the condition is true, then it will go for increment and decrement.
No. If the condition is true, then immediately it is going into the inside for loop.
Okay.
Inside for loop it is going. If the condition is true, immediately it is going to inside for loop. Then all the statements are executed. If all the statements are executed, then only it is going to this increment and decrement block.
Okay.
Okay,
Sir, if the condition is false, then it go for outside the loop. And what
outside the
about the
loop.
increment and what
No,
about the increment and decrement?
no. If it is false, it is automatically going into the out of the loop. There is no increment and decrement block.
Uh, okay.
Okay, I will
Yes.
show you. This is the way. For example, it is first of all it is going to be reach here. I is equal to 1, and then it is going to be checking that I is less than equal to n. If it is true, it is going inside these statements. If it is false, it is going to be out of the end of the loop. If it is true, it is going to be execute all the statements. After end of the statement, it is going into this increment block. After this increment block, again it is going into condition. Okay, this is the scenario for the for loop. Note it down, everyone. Write down the notebook how it is going to be operated. Okay, this is the functionality of that for loop here. In this way, the for loop is going to be working. First, it is going to be the control is going to be reach the initialization block. After initialization block, it is going to be the conditional statement. If the condition is true, it is going inside the for loop. If the condition is false, it is going out of the loop. If the condition is true, it is going to be execute all of the statements in the for loop, and after the last statement, it is going back to that it is going to this increment and decrement block. After increment and decrement, it is going back to condition again. Again, it is going to check the condition. If the condition is true, then only it is going to be repeat the same thing. Okay. For example, instead of printing hi and hello, I am going to print here %d, comma I am going to print. What is I value here? I am going to print. It is going to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. At the time of 10, it is going here. 11 is less than equal to 10. 11 is less than equal to 10. It is going out of the loop. The output is 1 to 10 like this. Note on this program. Note down this program also. So I'm going to read the n value from the keyboard. This is the comma ampersand n. For example, if I am reading n value, for example, if I am giving some 50, it is going to be printed up to 50. Okay, like this. For example, n value n is equal to 10.
Sir, doubts, sir.
Hmm?
Doubts, sir.
Yes, ask.
Sir, if I equals to 10, it will become 11. No, sir. 11 is less than or equal to, and here n is 10 only, no, sir. Then it shouldn't print 10, no, sir. While execution, it should not print 10, no, sir.
Okay, cool. First of all, I value is like this. I value is, what is the I value? What is I value? Initially,
One.
what is I value?
One, sir.
I value is 1 and 1 is
One,
less
sir.
than equal to 10. Is it true or not?
Yes, sir.
Then it is going to be print 1. Then I becomes 2. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Then 2 is printed. I becomes 3. I becomes 3. 3 is less than equal to 10. That is also true. That's why 3 is printed.
Yes, sir.
Then I becomes 4. 4 is less than 10. That is also printed. Then I becomes 5. 5 is less than 10. That's why 5 is also printed. Then I becomes 6. 6 is also less than 10. Less than equal to 10. That's why 6 is also printed. Then I becomes 7. 7 is less than 10. Is it true? Yes, it is true. That's why 7 is also printed. Then I becomes 8. 8 is less than 10. That's why 8 is also printed. Then 9. 9 is less than 10. That's why 9 is also printed. Then 9 becomes 10. 10 is less than equal to 10. Is it true or not?
Yes, sir.
That's why 10 is also printed. Then 10 becomes 11. I is 11. 11 is less than equal to 10. Is it true? Is it true?
No, sir.
No, then
No,
it is
sir.
coming out of the loop. What it is printed here? What it is printed here? 1, 2, 10.
10, sir.
Yes, you are thinking that this is not n. This is not we are printing. We are printing this one. Okay? Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For example, if there is no equal to, for example, I less than n only. I less than n. For example, I less than n. It is going to be printed up to 9 only. For example, I am giving 10. The output is up to 9 only. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Now I am going to write the same loop in a backward direction. For example, if we are giving 10, if it is 10, the output is 1 to 10. For example, now I am going to change the value from 10 to 1. I am going to print some 10 to 1. I am going to write for loop here. For I is equal to n, sorry, I is equal to n, I is greater than equal to 1, I minus minus. Okay, and I am going to print percentage %d comma I here. I am going to print this in a new line. Why? Because I am going to show this. What I am writing I will explain here. Just for example, if it is a 10, look at here. The first loop is going to be in a forward loop 1 to 10. The second loop is going to be in a backward loop 10 to 1. I will explain now. Here, what is I value? What is I value here? I is equal to, what I am writing here, I is equal to?
N.
I is equal to n means I is equal to 10. Okay? I is equal to 10. Then 10 is greater than equal to 1. Is it true or not? Is it true or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir, true.
That's why 10 is printed. Then it is going into decrement block here. This is going to be decrement block and I becomes 9. I becomes 9. 9 is greater than equal to 1. That's why 9 is printed, 8 is printed, 7 is printed, 6 is printed, 5, 4, 3, 2. At the time 2, it is going to be decremented as 1. 1 is greater than or equal to 1. Is it true or not?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, that's why 1 is also printed. After 1, it is going to be 0 here. Is 0 is greater than 1? Greater than or equal to 1? No.
No, sir.
That's why it is coming out of the loop and it is going to be print 10 to 1 here. This is backward loop. This is a backward loop and this is forward loop. Forward loop. Note it down. Note down the forward loop and backward loop. Note it down as some different programs, okay? Not in a single program. Previous program is different and we have to mix the both forward loop and backward loop in another program. Hash define I will explain you in when they are coming. That is the last part of the programming. For the uses I am going to explain it here. There is no use now. I will explain in the when they are needed. That is macros concept, that is. Okay. Okay. This is in this way we are going to write some forward looping and backward looping.
ఇంక్రిమెంట్ లో ప్రీ ఇంక్రిమెంట్ ఇస్తే ఏమైంది సార్?
Thing both are same. Both are same. That means this is one statement. This is one statement. If it is pre-incremented or nothing else. For example, if it is pre-incremented, I becomes 2. If it is a post-incremented, it is becomes incremented. If you are moving from this statement to this statement, right? There is no need to use here. We can write anything. There is no problem here. There is no problem here. For example, from given 10, it is going to be print 1 to 10 only. Okay?
ఓకే సార్.
So you can give pre-increment and post-increment, sir.
Any increment, no problem. Both are working as same here. Why? Because we are, this is separate statement, right? This is separate statement. For example, why I am writing like this? For example, I plus plus. I am going to print here after the statement. After the statement, I am going to print I here. After the statement, I am going to print here I statement. I becomes, if it is 1, it is going to be 2. Here also like that, right? Plus plus I. After the statement, I becomes incremented. No problem here. If it is a pre-increment or post increment, there is no discussion here. Okay, it is very common here. When it is going to be different, I will explain here. Example, I think that I tell you that's it. Here all the statements are all the statements are optional here. I am going to remove this one and I am going to write like this. What is the output? Can anyone guess? Is there any error? Is there any error here? There is no initialization block. Is there any error?
No, sir.
No error.
No, sir.
All are optionals. We have to maintain that semicolon. That's it.
No,
Nothing
sir.
else. For example, the output is going to be, for example, if we give 10, the output is 1 to 10. No doubt about that. Okay. Now I am going to delete this increment and decrement block. Can anyone guess what is the output here?
Only 10.
1.
I want multiple
One,
answers.
sir.
I want multiple answers.
1, sir.
1.
1, sir.
Okay.
1, sir.
One. Only one. Any other? Any other? Just do it manually. How it is working? Every time when you are writing a loop, if you want to find the output, just do it manually. Trace manually with your eyes. Trace it.
Error.
No. You are thinking in it. Is there an error?
1 to 10.
1 to
10, sir. 1.
1 to 10. అదే కనుక నేను క్లాస్లో ఉంటే పాటు నీకు ఒకటి ఇచ్చేవాడు అనమాట.
All are
1
1,
and 10,
sir.
sir.
1 and 10.
1.
1, sir. Sir, 10 times 1 print అవుతుంది, sir. 10 times 1 print అవుతుంది, sir.
ఓకే. రిమైనింగ్ టైమ్స్ 100 ప్రింట్ అవుద్దా? ఇంకా థింక్ చేయండి. ఇప్పుడు చెప్పింది ఏది కూడా దట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ఆల్ ఆర్ రాంగ్. సింప్లీ
సార్ కంటిన్యూస్ గా 1 ప్రింట్ అవుతుందా సార్?
Exactly. Why? Because first of all, what is I value here? Just trace it manually. Don't think that, don't assume. Every time we have to work with pen and paper. What is I value? I value is 1. We have to write 1 is less than equal to 10. 1 is less than equal to 10. Is it true or not? Is it true or not? Students, is it true or not?
True, sir.
Yes, it is coming inside the loop and it is going to be print 1 and it is going to increment and decrement block. Is there any increment and decrement block is there? No, not at all, right? Then it is automatically going into conditional statement again and again it is going to be checked 1 is less than equal to 10. Is it true or not? Is it true or not? Again it is true, then it is going to be print 1 again and again 1, again 1, again 1, again 1, again 1, again 1, like this. I'm going to give 10. Just wait for 2 days or 3 days or 1 year, it will be printing only 1. This is called, what is this? Infinite loop. When you are writing the, note down on the notebook, when you are writing the loops, we have to take care about avoiding the infinite loops. When you are writing the loops, we have to take care to avoid the infinite loops. This is the most important point. Okay, this is called infinite looping. Don't go for infinite loops. If you observe, it will be looping for indefinitely every time. Okay, why it is infinite loop? Why it is infinite loop? Anyone?
No end.
The I is never entering into that, not reaching the 10.
No
It is maintaining. That is not incremented. I is not incremented, or else n is not decremented. For example,
Condition never fails.
yes, condition never fails. It always true. That is the mistake here. Okay, now I am writing here I plus plus. Now what is the output?
Sir. 1 to 10 numbers print out there, sir.
1 to 10, the same output. The same output in the previous output. For example, if it is a 10, it is going to be print 1 to 10. Okay, it is going to be print normally. Why? Because I am writing here in the last statement. If I am writing here also, if I am writing here also, it is going to be executed at last of the statement, right? If all the statements are executed, then only it will be work. The same thing here also I am writing here. After all the statements, I am incrementing this one. The same. One printed, one becomes a two. Two printed, two becomes three, like that. Okay? Note down everything. What I am writing here, just note down everything. And for example, I am going to change like this. Can anyone guess now what is the output here? Students. All the remaining students just stay here and listen carefully and try to guess the output.
Two to 10. Printing
Ten.
starts from 2 and it is continually printing, sir.
No, wrong answer.
It prints 2 to 10.
Wrong.
Sir, even numbers print అయితాయా sir?
No, wrong answer.
Sir, it will print 1 to 10 in ladder wise, maybe.
1 to 10.
It's going to print only 1 to 10.
1 to 10 and continuously it prints.
The same output, the previous output. There is no doubt about that here. Why? Because this is a post increment here. Post increment. That is going to be print first, incremented next. Okay? Print first, incremented next. Then the output is 1 printed, 1 becomes a 2. The same thing. Okay? Is it clear? Hello. Now what is the output here?
It prints 2 to 10 numbers, sir.
sir.
2 to
It prints odd numbers.
odd numbers అసలు ఎందుకు వెళ్తామా?
2 to 11, sir.
2 to 10.
Printing 2 to 11. 2 to 11, sir. 2 to 11, sir.
Okay, correct. 2 to 11 is perfect. If I am doing any increment with plus 2, then only it will be go for only even numbers and only odd numbers. Here I am incrementing only plus 1, right? Why it is going for even numbers and odd numbers? Only that goal is talking. Huh? If I am doing here plus 1 every time, it is going to be print. For example, I is 1. Here it is going to be incremented and printed. 2. For the last value, I is 10. 10 is incremented as 11 and 11 is printed. The output is 2 to 11 is the output. Okay? Is it clear? Just note down all the things what I am telling here. For example, what I am telling here, I plus plus, and I am also write it like this, I plus plus here also. You can write all these things. All these things you have to note it down in the notebook. Why? Because for further reference, when you are reading again at the third year or final year, just to remember all the properties of the for loop. Plus plus. This is the challenge for you guys. Can anyone guess what is the output if n is equal to 10, for example? Just do it mathematically. Just note down, first of all, note down this program, what I'm writing here.
With 125, sir.
One is printed 10 times.
One is printed for 10 times.
125, sir.
With
125,
125, sir.
125, sir.
This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Is there any other outputs? Is there any other outputs? First of all, I am going to trace here how it is working. Only 80 members are there, but only 2 members are answering, right? First of all, what is I value? I value becomes 1. I is 1. 1 is less than equal to 10. Is it true or not? Yes, it is true. Yes, it is true. Then it is going to be print 1. Then 1 becomes 2. Then I becomes 2 here. Then I becomes 2 and n becomes 9. Yes, 2 is less than equal to 9. Is it true or not? Yes, it is true. And it is going to be printed 2 and I becomes 3 and n becomes 8. 3 is less than equal to 8. Yes, it is also true. Then again it is coming here and it is going to be print 3 and 3 and it is going to be incremented as 4 and it is going to be decremented as 7. 4 is less than 7. Then it is going to be print 4. Then I becomes 5 and this is going to be, this becomes 6. 5 is less than equal to 6. Yes. Now also it is going to be print 5 and I becomes 6 and n becomes 5. 6 is less than equal to 5. It is the wrong. That's why the output is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 is the answer. Okay. Can it again? Okay. For example, what is I value initially? Just chorus with me.
Sir,
Hmm.
sir,
Hmm.
sir, we already initialized at I equal to 1.
Yes, I is equal
And
to
in the for loop we are printing printf at I plus plus. But
yes.
sir, but how it's started in output? Are we getting first 1?
It is post increment, right? What is I
Yes, sir.
value? What is I value? I value is 1.
1.
1 is printed, then I becomes plus 1.
Acha.
Okay? That is post increment. This is perfectly, it is equal to like this. That means it is printed here and I is equal to I plus 1 like this.
Okay, sir.
Okay, that's why it is printed first and incremented next. That is pre-increment, post increment.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, that's it. Clear, I think. Okay, Amma, no chorus, Raval. What is I value? I value is initially 1. I value is initially 1. 1 is less than equal to, what is n value? N value is 10. Okay? Amma, okay na? Okay. Is it true or not?
True, sir.
Yes, sir, true. Coming inside the loop. And what is I value here? What is I value? I value is 1. 1 is printed. Then I becomes a 2. Okay. Then I becomes a 2. 2 is less than equal to 10. Is it true or not? Sorry. Then it is coming here. Then n becomes n minus minus. Then n becomes a 9. N is decremented. Okay. If two friends are there, they are coming in, one student is coming in forward direction, one friend is coming in backward direction. They have to hug like this. Okay. Then 2 is less than equal to 9. Yes, this time is also perfect. Then what is I value? I value is 2. Then I becomes incremented as 3 and n is decremented as 8 plus minus 1. Then 3 is less than equal to 8. Is it true or not? Yes, again it is true. Then it is printed as 3 here. Then I becomes 4 and n becomes 7. then 4 minus 4 is less than or equal to 7. Is it true? Yes, again it is true. Then 4 is printed. Then 4 becomes 5 and this is going to be 6. 5 is less than or equal to 6. Yes, this is also true. That's why then it is going to be print 5. Then I becomes 6 here. N becomes 5. 6 is less than or equal to 5. Is it true? False. That's why it is coming out of the loop. Then it is going to be print only 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay? Yes, it's clear, I think. For example, I am going to write here like this. Now what is the output? Is there any error here? Is there any error? How many blocks here? How many blocks? For example, I am writing here like this. How many blocks now? Blocks?
4.
4, sir.
No, not at all. It is only 3.
3 blocks.
3 blocks. Block is going to be differentiated with only semicolon. We can write n number of statements. N number of statements in a single block. That is n minus minus comma I plus plus. That is wholly called as increment or decrement block. We can write n number of statements separated by comma. That is totally treated as one block. Okay, n number of lines I am writing here. The same output here also I got. For example, if I am going to 10 and it is going to be print like this, I can write like this n number of lines. In any statement, for example, here also I am going to write comma n is equal to 10. For example, I am going to stop this one. This is called, this is initialization block. This is initialization block and this is conditional block and this is increment and decrement block. We can separate it by commas, so that is called, what is that? What is that?
Semicolon.
That is just, if you separate it by commas, that is n number of statements in single block. That's it, nothing else. Okay? Write down this one also. Write down this one also. And note down one point. We can write n number of blocks, n number of statements in single block. Write down this point also. We can write n number of statements separated by comma in one block. Okay, this is perfect. We can write n number of statements separated by comma within one block. Lots of properties of for loop here. Note down every time. Note down
You
the
didn't
program.
write return 0.
Amma?
You didn't write return 0, sir. Program.
No problem. It's going to be erased, I think, when I'm cutting the code. No problem. Just every time note the program and what is the output also in the right hand side. Okay, for this, what is the output? For this, what is the output? The same output. It's going to be print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now what is the output? Can anyone guess? Students, I am going to change like this. Less than equal to n, I am going to change it as n is greater than equal to I is greater than equal to n.
Sir,
11
condition
to infinity, sir.
Ma?
condition wrong కదా sir.
Then what is the output
Initially
here?
condition wrong అవుతుంది కదా sir.
Only
Then what
one
is
will
the,
be printed.
why one is printed?
Nothing is printed, sir.
I think is printed is the correct one. Yes. Initially the condition is wrong at the first position, right? At the first time. The first time the condition is wrong, it never enters into the block. Okay, then the output is not 1 to 11 or 11 to 1, nothing else. The output is nothing. It prints nothing. Why? Because what is I value? What is I value? I value is 1, 1 is greater than equal to 10. Is it true? No, it is false for the first time, then it is coming out of the loop. That's it, is never enter into the loop. It's never enter into the loop. For example, I am going to write I is less than equal to n. Now, I am writing two conditions in the condition block separated by comma.
1 to 5, sir.
I am going to execute it. Just observe. Yes, two conditions I am writing. What will happen? Observe here, the output is going to be print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. How it is going to be print, we don't know. And I will conclude with, I am going to exchange this one. Yes, like this. Can anyone guess now what is the output here? Just wait, I will execute it. Just look at here. Is there any output here? How they are working here means, for example, in the last statement, first of all, it is going to be check this condition. It is going to be check this condition. What is this condition? Is it true or not? It is false. Then immediately it is going to the next one. This last one has the priority every time. What is the last condition value? What is the last condition value? I is less than equal to n. Is it true or not? It is going to be considered what is the last one. What is the last one? Last one is true or false? The last one is true, then it is going to enter into the loop.
True.
That's why, for example, I am going to write here, for example, 10 is less than some 100. Sorry, some 5 like this. I am going to write three statements here. This one is false, this one is false, and this one is true, and this one is also false. This one is also false. Then I am going to execute it. It's print nothing. That means what is the last statement? What is the last statement value here? Is it true or not? If it is true, then it is going to be working. Just note down, everyone. Note down that point also. In conditional statement, there are n number of conditions. It is going to be take what is the last one. It's going to be take the last one's value. It's going to be take the last one's value. In conditional statement, there are n conditions separated by comma. Then it will be take the last value. I'm giving here the total description and the total knowledge about the for loop. Just you have to practice it again. Then you get a clear idea about, yes, this is working like this. Yes, this is working like this. Then only you will write the programs. Okay, is it clear, everyone? If you have any doubts, just practice it again. Just practice it again. And if you are not understanding at the time, then only ask me. Okay. Yes. I think one girl is asking any doubt. Okay. For example, now I am going to delete all the conditional statements. There is no single conditional statement here. Can anyone guess what is the output now? There is no conditional statement. There is no conditional block here. Then what is the output? How it is going to be treated?
Infinity loop.
Why it is going to be an infinite loop? 100% it is infinite loop. Why? Because by defaultly it is going to be treated as a true always. For example, if I am putting 1 here, it is going to be print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this. Okay? Why? Because I is incremented, na? That's why 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. For example, if I am not printing, not putting anything else, now also it is taking as by defaultly the conditional block is going to be treated as always true in the for loop. Okay, write down the notebook that one also. If there is no condition, no conditional block here in the for loop, it always treated as a true value. It always treated as a true value. That means it is an infinite loop. Note down this point also. Okay.
Sir, ఒకవేళ ఇచ్చిన 2 కండిషన్స్ ట్రూ అయితే అప్పుడు కూడా లాస్ట్ కండిషన్ తీసుకుంటారా సార్?
లాస్ట్ కండిషన్ తీసుకుంటుంది. It will take only the last conditional value only when it is separated by comma. Okay?
ఓకే సార్.
నువ్వు చెక్ చేస్తే నీకు ఐడియా వస్తుంది. ఓకేనా? చెక్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఎలా చెక్ చేస్తారంటే, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఈ కింద ఫర్ లూప్ అంతా మర్చిపోండి ఒకసారి. ఫర్ n ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ 10 ఈజ్ గ్రేటర్ దాన్ 5 కామా 10 ఈజ్ లెస్ దాన్ 5 కామా 2 ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు 2 ఏమొస్తుందో చెక్ చేయండి. జస్ట్ చెక్ లైక్ దిస్. n will be assigned with what value or like that. Just check with again. Okay, check all the properties.